Okay, it's where you put all the little blocks and the blocks and the blocks, and then you take turns pulling the blocks out. And you want to try not to be the one that pulls the wrong block out because everything tumbles down in your tower. Well, 2003 was my Jenga tower, and I definitely must have pulled out some wrong blocks because everything that I thought was perfect and wonderful came crashing down, and it was a really challenging year. It was the first time that the I'll work hard at everything and it will work out just fine mentality was put to the test, and it failed miserably. And it was just one of those years, you know, we've all had them that are just hard. No matter how you look at it, it's just plain hard, and you just keep getting up every day and doing the hard thing and hope that the time passes. But when I look back on 2003, I just think, why that's behind me. Let's not do that again. Let's not do that again. But,
well, I got to read a lot of your articles and some of your books, and you wrote that you realized that you had sacrificed some of yourself in your marriage.
yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you mean by that?
Sure. I really love that particular subject because I think it's something that married women don't talk about very much. And it's something that I wish for my daughters, and I wish for women who've never been married or women that are going to be married again, that I wish it were something that was more conversational, something that more people felt comfortable talking about. Because I know from my own experience that I could have really benefited from somebody more mature than I sitting me down and saying, you know what, this is what this is going to look like. And this isn't always easy, and it's not always easy being a good teammate. But for as much as I think I threw myself wholeheartedly into everything that needed to be done, I think that I was trying so hard to be the perfect wife, the perfect mother, and just to do everything right, that there were parts of myself that I think I just kind of shoved away or put on a shelf for later. And the irony of that whole thing now, looking back, is that there's so many things that Lance loved about me, and he loves about me still. But those things, if you take parts of yourself and you put them on the shelf, then even the person who fell in love with you to begin with wonders where you went. And isn't that the irony? You're trying so hard to be the perfect spouse, but you're messing up at the same time. And I think that happened to me, and that's the thing that I wish people had said, just to hold on to that core, that beautiful flame of who you are. Don't let that go out. And I wish that people would sit down with their daughters and their granddaughters and their girlfriends and say, let's talk about that and how you're going to guard that. Because that would be a gift for conversation.
I think a lot of us can relate to that, wanting to be the people pleaser, wanting to be it all for our families. Yes. And you're right, we lose a part of ourselves doing that. And that part can be a lot of things, a lot of different things. So you talked about when you went through your divorce, it was a very public divorce, right? That you go through this dark side, and sometimes as women we handle things differently. We gain weight, we hold up, whatever. What sort of things did you do going through that dark time?
Well, I think I just felt like being quiet, and it was hard to be quiet when your life is in the newspaper or in magazines or. On one hand, it's kind of annoying, but on the other hand, it's kind of sweet when you're shuffling along through Costco and somebody comes up and says, honey, we're praying for you. Oh my God, I love all you. So, on one hand, on the other hand, I think that was just a hard time.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, in the early years of the marriage, when you and Lance were often interviewed by magazines and journalists, you looked very confident, you looked very happy, but you're saying that you were feeling a little bit differently, there was a little part of you that was missing or back on the shelf. Looking back on that now, did that help with bringing out some of your self-confidence later? How did you feel about yourself through that sort of change?
Well, I think that's in 2003 when the Jenga pile fell apart. I think I learned a lot about confidence. And the first thing that I learned about confidence was that I did not possess it. And I've written before that what I had instead was a thin coating of arrogance covering up the core of fear. And I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty unattractive. And I think I was trying so hard to be something that maybe I wasn't ready to be yet. I don't know. But at that time in my life, that is when I needed an overhaul on the subject of confidence. And learning that I didn't have it was a good place to start. And I had a chance to kind of do a remodel on myself and on my life. And I like to joke that I did not have the luxury of moving into a rental. I had to stay put in the renovation inside myself. I think that that's when I got to learn that if I were going to do this and build my confidence correctly, I needed the core of faith. And it was from that point that I could have confidence not in myself, but in God. And I needed something bigger than me, because I had every possible indication that I was not sufficient. And that was, I don't know if that was a bigger shock or a relief in that moment. And I think it was kind of a relief.
Also talked about it, as you went through your divorce, you chose to take the high road. Can you tell us what you mean by you took the high road throughout this process?
I think at the very beginning, you know how when you have miles that you can use when you travel and you try to use them and they have all these blackout dates, you can't use them for spring break, you can't use them here, there, everywhere. I had that image in my head that I didn't want to look back on that time in my life and just look at it as one giant blackout date. You know, I had 3 small children. At the time, Luke was 3 and the girls were 1. So I had these adorable 3 sets of blue eyes staring up at Mom going, what are we going to do today? I thought, you can't really say to your kids, well, first I'm going to have a meltdown, and then I'm going to go back to bed. It just doesn't work like that. So I think at the very beginning, I think I had to make a choice if I was going to stay positive and stay engaged and stay present. And having children, I think on one hand might make divorce harder, but on the other hand it might make it easier because you have people that are counting on you. And if there's anybody that I will not let down, let me say right now, it would be Luke, Grace, and Isabel Armstrong. I will not let them down. So no blackout dates for those kids. And I've made that decision. And like all important decisions, I think sometimes you have to make them before you really feel like making them. And you have to take the emotion out and just say, you know what, I'm going this way. And eventually, hopefully, those feelings will come. But for now, I'm going to go and be brave and be strong and be a woman without bitterness.
That's a tough one. It's a tough one, and to be so public about it. You also talked about in your book that people carry around unnecessary burdens. And if you can allude to that a little bit more, you've helped yourself through this bitterness side, but what do you mean by carrying around unnecessary burdens and how can you work through that?
Well, you can feel it, I think, when you meet someone that's carrying a lot of junk around. She's carrying her pack on her back, her past baggage is hanging off, or she might even have like a carriage behind her filled with junk. It's just weighing her down. And I think that we carry around a lot of stuff and we just, for some reason, think that we have to. Things like bitterness, things like resentment. But the biggest doozy of them all is the thing called unforgiveness. And that, to me, can make someone aged 20 years past their age. It can make someone absolutely miserable company. And basically, what unforgiveness does is it shortchanges you, the person who has it. It doesn't shortchange the person that you're not forgiving. And that, to me, is tragic.
When we met, I gave you the quote that I read, and you knew who wrote it, which was great because I have no idea who wrote it. I still don't, I didn't write it down. That bitterness is a poison that we swallow, hoping our enemy will die. Yeah.
It's Frank McCourt.
Thank you. Somebody wrote that down. All right, so some of us have been hurt at some point in our lives in a relationship by someone, and it still hurts, and we find it very hard to forgive. So why do you think it's so important? When you talk about this forgiveness, it's obviously, it's been great for you to cleanse, and why is it so important for us to work through that forgiveness?
For one thing, I think in our spiritual walks, we are completely halted. We stand flat still in front of a detour sign or a yield sign. We do not move forward when we are unable to forgive. And I think